computer. Hello, everyone. So, guys, today we are going to start the previous lecture, right? This is the part 2 of the previous lecture. The previous lecture was on the paper 3, Advanced Educational Research of M.Ed part 3. Okay. So, this is the part 2. This is a part 2 of the same lecture, right? So, first, we discussed what we have done in the previous lecture, right? So see your syllabus first. This is your syllabus. I'm going to zoom out, right? I think now it is readable to all of you. These are the 4 sections. Okay, kindly see that. This is the unit 1. Under the unit 1, tools and techniques and 3 methods. Okay, historical, descriptive and scientific, right? Unit 2nd, under the unit 2nd, you have the topics experimental research and its design and research report, research proposals, characteristics and steps, right? In the unit 3, you have the correlations and regression. And unit 4, you have the differentials. Under the differentials, t-test, null hypothesis, standard error, type 1, type 2 error, one tail and two tail test, and significance of a statistics, right? And in the last, ANOVA. Okay. So this is our syllabus, right? And guys, already if you remember, in the last lecture, I have already told you the main paper of this semester is the third paper, right? The name of the paper is Advanced Educational Research. Okay, so take it seriously. Actually, we are discussing the 2 papers. Okay, I tell you how. We are discussing the paper 1, this one paper, as well as we are also covering your academic writing paper, which is the paper 19. Yes, practical paper, which you have submitted the file to your respective colleges, right? And if you see that, this is the viva of the academic writing paper 19. Okay, all the questions asked by the examiner that is related with this paper. Examiner would ask everything about, what are tools and techniques, characteristics of a tools and techniques. Okay, tell me about the historical method. Okay, criticism of a historical method. How scientific method is it different from the descriptive method? Okay, which difference between the research proposal and the research report? What difference between the t-test and the ANOVA test? Okay, these are the most important. Okay, so guys, this paper is the most important. Okay, so actually we are covering the 2 papers, as well as, in fact, I will tell you, we are covering the 3 papers, because your third practical is dissertation. Okay, which you have made the 3 chapters and submitted to your respective colleges, and all the question asked by the examiner related with this topic. So this is a very technical paper. Other 3 papers are very much easy, right? Paper 1 talking about specialization, paper 2 specializations, all talks about the school administrations and school education, and paper 4 is the teacher education. Even in this second semester, we have gone through little bit about the teacher education, if you remember. But now the paper 3rd, which is most important, we will also cover all the 3 papers. Okay, but I'm giving the more time, more focusing on this paper. Okay, guys. And one more thing, in this paper, you have one numerical also. Numerical would come from in the unit 4 and sometime in unit 3 also, right? You can see the last year paper. Okay, the numerical has come, one part of numerical, one part of the theory part, right? So guys, this is the syllabus. Okay, so I want that everybody should learn. Syllabus should be on the fingertip, and all the notes should be on the fingertip, because 4 month 5 month before I have given the notes to you, right guys? And in the last lecture, we have already discussed tools and techniques, approaches and correlations. Today we will cover the unit 2, So already I'm going to, you can say that, coloring the unit 2, okay, with the green color and the yellow color background, the yellow color we have already covered in the part 1. Okay, you can watch my video, right, guys? And the green color which I'm just selecting today, we will cover this part and ANOVA also, this one, right? And test of t-test, concept of a null hypothesis, right? And some portion of this, and then and this also. Okay, so okay guys, so this is your a little bit I'm discussing the previous one, right? And then I will come to the in today part 2. This is your last year paper. Okay. Syllabus we have already discussed. This is your last year paper. If you remember, I'm discussing directly through your notes. Okay. Because I have already advised to all of you, informed to all of you. Okay. Please take the printout of my notes, make the spiral binding, and watch my lecture. Concept would be cleared. All right. And in the second page, the last year paper I have given, the total notes are of around 130 pages, right? And 130 pages, 60 70 pages. In these 60 70 pages, last year paper have solved. Okay. And rest of the 70 pages, additional notes which are covering your whole syllabus, right? So this is your last year paper. So we have already discussed characteristics of a good research tool. If you remember, difference between experimental and descriptive research, we have already discussed, right? In the previous lecture. Assumption of correlations we have done. If you remember, right? Correlations, then, two methods of the correlation, right? Pearson and Spearman method, right? The formula 1 minus 6 sigma d square divided by n square minus 1, right? And negative positive correlations we discussed. And two main questions. This one, okay, which is already selected with the yellow color background. Types of rating scales, what are the prominent errors and how you will overcome it, we discussed. And historical research we have already discussed, right guys? So you can see that the notes. Okay, so I'm opening the second file. This is the second file of your PDF file. Okay, this is the notes file. Okay, earlier was of the syllabus file. Okay, guys, now you can see that, right? This portion we are done. Characteristics of a good research tool. If you remember, and under the characteristics of a good research tool, three characteristics. One is validity, reliability, and the usability, right? If you remember, I have given the example of the watch, right? Then all the then I discuss what is the difference between the research design and the research method. Okay, research design means plan. Okay, what is your plan? What you are going through that? Okay, you have to write the plan, how you have to proceed. And research method is that once you implement the topic, you are using that particular method. Okay, so guys, this is the technical paper. You cannot mug up the words, you cannot cram it. Okay, you have to understand with the help of the example, right? Everything. My purpose here to understand you the concept, detail, you have to learn it. And in the next week on 11th of January, I'm going to conduct a test, right? Because 60% we have already done, rest of the 40-50% we will do today, right? This I have done. And all the three approaches, if you remember, right? तीन ही method है आपके. One is descriptive method. Descriptive method talks about the current phenomena, right? And the historical method, historical research या historical method is the same thing. Okay, historical method talks about the previous things. Okay, I have given the examples of the teaching of Jesus, है ना? If you remember, right? And scientific research means experimental method, right? Which talks about cause and effect, right? So we have discussed. Okay, abhi just I'm just talking about the previous lecture. Okay, descriptive research we are done. experimental research we are done. And if the concept is clear about the all the three methods, so then you can differentiate, right? Difference between experimental and descriptive. Might be examiner can ask from you difference between the historical and the experiment method, right? Descriptive and experimental method, right? Because of this is our, exam preparation class. So that's why I'm telling you the tips also, right? So if you have copy and pen, you can write down. Okay, otherwise you can pause my video, right? And then write it. So we are discussed, and assumptions, these are the most important. Okay. And I tell all of you, do the assumption of correlation, assumption of regression, and assumption of ANOVA. 100% questions would come. Okay. All the three assumptions are important, right? Okay, which we have already cleared. Okay. Side by side, I open the PPT also. If you remember, correlations we are done, this one, right? Then correlations and types of positive and negative correlations we are done, right? Method, two types of a method, okay? So all the three things side by side, okay, I am discussing. Because some portion I have to understand you with the help of a PPT, some with the notes, okay? The main funda is that concept should be clear, okay? Every topic, every word should be clear to you. These are the assumptions of correlation. You must remember. Okay. Two variables should be measured at the interval and ratio level. Second assumption, linear relationship must be established between the variables. There should be a no significant outlier. Data is normally distributed. And fifth is, need to show that the data has homoscedasticity. Homoscedasticity. It means homogeneous, right? Then, this is the long questions, rating scales, if you remember. Okay. We have already done it, right? Types of a rating scales, what prominent error, how to remove that. Okay. Rating scales, all the types of a rating scales. Okay. You can see that. Numerical scales, Likert scale, the most important. Sometime, you know, differently questions can come about the Likert scale. Right? Likert scale is also important. Okay. You can do the Likert scale in detail also. Okay. You can see in the notes. Okay. Actually, examiner has framed the questions here. Now, what is the questions? See the questions. Describe different types of a rating scales. है ना मतलब what the examiner has done it मतलब whole unit he has asked. हाँ, if you know the syllabus, in the syllabus it is written uh, regarding the research tools, then characteristics of the tools, features of the tools. Okay, different things it is written, but in a one question he has asked the whole unit. Okay, मतलब right, the students to inform the students to write the different type of rating scales, what are the prominent errors and how you will overcome it. Okay, but don't you take it the questions would come same again. Might be the questions can come on particular scales, rating scales, attitudinal scales, right? So differently be aapko, you have to learn it, right? This is the last year answer na. So last year answer, it is of the 6 pages, but you will go through the notes in detail. Notes are given, right? So in the notes you can go through the in detail particular scales also. Okay, then on over there you have to write a particular scales and you have to stretch it up to the 6 or 7 pages within a 30 minutes, right? So, these all the types of scales we are done. Okay, guys. So just I'm discussing still the last lecture and second questions. What is a historical research? Describe the steps. Okay, I have informed you now. The steps are important of the historical research. Criticism are important. And with the help of a PPT, ये देखिए last PPT we have discussed about the historical research, right? Importance and significance of historical research. Steps are important, right? First steps is selecting the problem. Second, formulation of hypothesis. Third, collections of data. And okay, what I have told you, under the collections of a data, there are the two part. One is a primary source, one is a secondary source. Okay. Then fourth step is interpretations of the data. And under the interpretations of the data, there is also sub point, external criticism and internal criticism. Okay, see it. ये देखो, primary sources, secondary sources. Then fourth point, verifying the gather the data. Under this, there are two types, external and internal. Okay, ये देखो, external and internal. Then fifth, interpretations of it, data and writing of a research report. Okay, so guys, this is the most important. Do it carefully. Okay, all the concepts are interrelated with each other. Okay, and again, I'm telling you, this is your most important paper. Not only the one paper you are covering your three papers, right? Because your viva totally depend upon this paper of dissertations, all the three chapters. And mind it, examiner will explore you more and more. Okay, he or she will ask you, she will dig you more and more, right? Ask the questions. Okay, so you should be prepared of it. And third is academic writing. And under the academic writing, you know that now how to write a research paper, right? And you know which book you have selected. Tell me the name of the author. You know, all the questions are asked. Okay, I will inform you. I will tell you the important questions one also. But here, this is my duty to tell you that this paper is the most important and covering your three papers. Okay, one theory paper as well as two practical papers, right? So guys, ये भी हमने, third भी हमने, we have covered. Okay, now from the fourth question we are discussing from today's paper. Okay, and you have seen that I have colored the background as a green because yellow background we have covered in the part one, right? So the fourth question is that how is research proposal different from the research report? Okay, and explain the difference with describing steps of each, right? अब guys, ये questions है, easy है, कुछ ऐसी बात भी नहीं है कि बहुत difficult भी नहीं है, it is a very easy, right? So it is talking about, see the question once, twice, okay, and make in your mind how you have to write it. So it is talking about research proposal. It is talking about the research report, right? So first of all, you should know about what is a research proposal and research report. Okay, in a one line, I tell you the answer. The research proposal is your synopsis, which you have submitted in the M.Ed semester 2. Do you remember now? Semester 2, you have submitted the synopsis. Okay, do not forget it, right? Take the printout of it, okay? Because all the semesters are interrelated with each other, okay? Right? You can't say that second semester you are done and you are focusing on the third one. Guys, the same question has come from the semester second. जो आपका research proposal है, synopsis है, you have made by yourself, okay? If you remember, 10 or 12 pages, you have submitted to the university and you have gone through the viva also. This is the question, right? So, research proposal is your synopsis. And what is a research report? Research report means your dissertation. Okay, 5 chapters, right? And in this semester, you are submitting the 3 chapters. In the fourth semester, you have to submit the 5 chapters. Okay, which is called dissertation. What is dissertation? Another name of the dissertation is the research report, report writing, right? Project. Okay, this is the name, right? You should be familiar with this. Okay, and this is the most important thing. Okay, so I think you have come to know that. फिर भी हम, okay, we also do with the PPT also. So I have made a PPT to clear the concept. Research proposal. Okay, see that what is a research proposal? Research proposal is a structured outline for a planned study on a specific topic. It serves as a roadmap. आपका जो synopsis था, synopsis क्या था? What was synopsis? Synopsis was a roadmap. Okay, what have you defined in the synopsis? You have defined in the synopsis, sir, I'm going to take this topic, the name of the topic, and I will proceed from that way, right? This is my sample. ये मेरा sample है. These are my hypotheses. These tools I will use. These methods I will use. and this is my delimitations, right? Okay, yay 6-7 points you have written in your 10 to 12 pages. Okay, you should know it, guys. Sometimes what happens, student forget about the topic name, right? And even if you are watching my video, I can tell you with guarantee some of you have forgotten your topic name. So see it again and again, okay? Then it will come in your mind, right? What was the your topic name? What was the hypothesis of your study? What was the research objectives of your study? Right? Which method you use? Which is your sample? Which technique you used? It should be on fingertip. So this is the core, right? Core subject, core research. Okay. It is also called the mini PhD, in fact, right? So the same lecture is a very beneficial for the PhD student also. So again, see that a research proposal is a structure outline for a planned study on a specific topic. It serves as a roadmap, guiding researchers through the process of converting their research into a feasible dissertation. हो गया ना concept clear? Right? Got it? And a research proposal is a vital tool that helps scholars and university students to complete a dissertations or fulfill course requirement. Okay, clear? Again, a research proposal outline the importance of your inquiry and summarizes how you plan to investigate your research problem, right? How you proceed basically. Your synopsis is the roadmap, how you have to proceed. Okay. Examiner can ask you within this whole 6 months from the last paper you gave on, I think, August to February, what you did it. Then you have to, confidently, you have to say that, okay, whatever the actions you have taken for making the 3 chapters, okay, where you have gone from, where you have collected the data, all the things you have to say confidently, right? And papers are very near. After 1 month, your papers are going to start, okay? So take it seriously, all the things, and start your study, okay, guys? The last is before developing a project. Ye dekho, before developing a project, it is often valuable to learn some fundamental information about this type of a document and ways you can best structure it. Again, the next PPT hai ye. A research proposal is a formal document expressing the details of the research project, which is usually for science or academic purposes, and it is a typically 8 to 10 pages. यही था ना, 8 से 10 pages के अंदर you have written. ओके, सो ये गाइस रिसर्च प्रपोजल्स के बारे में है सारा. ओके, ये साइड बाय साइड, ये देखो आई एम ओपनिंग द नोट्स. ये देखो रिसर्च प्रपोजल्स. ओके, ये ऑल दी मैटर ना विच इज यू आर गेटिंग फ्रॉम द पीपीटी, आई हैव टेकन फ्रॉम हियर, फ्रॉम द नोट्स विच आई हैव ऑलरेडी गिवन टू यू, फ्रॉम द पीडीएफ विच आई हैव ऑलरेडी गिवन टू यू. ओके, देन रिसर्च रिपोर्ट. ये देखिए रिसर्च रिपोर्ट क्या चीज है. रिसर्च प्रपोजल हो गया हमारा. Research report, I have already told you na. Research report is your final project work. Okay. Research report is your dissertation. Right. So guys, you should know it na orally also about this. Okay. Means whatever the work you are doing that. This is the only way to learn this paper. Right. Research paper, academic writing, dissertations. Right. So you have to discuss, and this is and you all the students you are watching my video, you all have the different topic. You all have the different sample. You all have the different techniques. Okay. So this is a unique to every person. I just want to say that, right? So this is the reason you cannot mug up, you cannot cram it. You have to learn, with the help of the examples. So research report, I think it is clear to you, है ना, the final dissertations, right? ये देखिए अब आपका ये यहाँ पे होगा रिसर्च रिपोर्ट भी, है ना. रिसर्च रिपोर्ट वी आर डिस्कस्ड. ओके, देन डिफरेंस बिटवीन रिसर्च रिपोर्ट, हाँ, स्टेप्स. Okay, because in the question it is asked the steps in the preparation of a research proposal. Tell me the steps. Guys, we have already done. ओके, सिनॉप्सिस वी हैव सबमिटेड. वो सारा जो सिनॉप्सिस था आपका, ओके, वी हैव रिटन ना. द फर्स्ट इज द टाइटल, देन रिव्यू ऑफ रिलेटेड लिटरेचर, देन मेथोडोलॉजी, है ना, ऑल द थिंग्स. दीज आर द स्टेप्स ऑफ द रिसर्च प्रपोजल. ये देख लो. title and abstract, introduction, research objectives, literature review, methodology, timeline, expected outcome and significance and references. यही थे ना 8 points which you have elaborated. Okay. Up next, you have to write the steps of the research report. Up research report means dissertation. So what would be your steps of the research report? Up, here, this is a roadmap, है ना, which you are submitting to the university and telling the university, कि sir, this is my topic. These are my literature review. These are my research objectives. These are my timelines. These are my delimitations of the study. So I will be, okay, listen me carefully. I'm using the word will be. Okay, karungi, karunga, will be, right? When you will finish your whole of the 5 chapters, dissertation, okay, and in the last, you will write it existed, okay. In the synopsis, you always write will be. I will be work on it. I will be doing this method. I will be collect the sample. Okay. In the hypothesis, you have seen now there will be a significant difference, right? But when you will write your research report, you have to write the existed. Okay, it has done. Because what have you done it? You have collected the data and you have interpreted the result. So you have interpreted the result and you have written the some conclusions, discussions. Okay. These things you have to write under a dissertation. The same thing would become the steps of your research report. Okay, but I'm telling you how to learn it. Okay, if you learn the steps of the research proposal, okay, all the steps are the same. You can add 3 or 4. What are the steps? Number first is the interpretation, discussion, last में conclusion, or appendices and references. These are the steps of the research report. Research proposal we are done. ये देखो, just see the steps in preparation of the research report. ठीक है, स्टार्टिंग में वही है, इंट्रोडक्शन है, लिटरेचर रिव्यू है, रिसर्च मेथोडोलॉजी है. अब आपके फाइंडिंग्स आ गया. ओके, बिकॉज नाउ यू आर मेकिंग ए रिसर्च रिपोर्ट, राइट? डिसर्टेशन. हियर यू हैव collected the data and you have interpreted the data. After interpretations of the data, you have got some results, some findings. You have got it. Okay, that's why under the steps of research report, you have to use these words in the last: findings, discussions, conclusions, references, and appendices. Got it? Findings, discussions, conclusions. These steps you can't add in the under the research proposal. Okay? Because you didn't start yet. You are going to start. Right? But under the research report, you have started, you have done the work. So then what would happen? In the last, these 3 steps would be added. So it will become your research report. Baki to simple si hai. Okay, details you can learn it, right? Along with the steps, okay, you have to stretch it, okay, in some of the lines in the notes it is written. So guys, we are done with your 4th questions, right? How the research report is different from the research proposal is different from the research report, and what are the steps of each research proposal and research report, right? अब देखो, ऐसे orally आपको याद होना चाहिए, तभी ये टॉपिक याद होगा. Okay, only then you can learn it. Okay, if you work on again and again, you have to learn it, right? Because this is all around 40-50% are numerical terms are using in this paper, right? If from all of you, some many of these students, I know that you don't have the mathematics background, you don't have the statistical background. So my advice to those persons also, if you don't have the mathematics or statistical background, okay, you have to work harder, right? Go for this paper again and again, right? Okay guys, the next is the 5th one. Okay, this is again most important. ये देखो 4-5 क्वेश्चन तो ये आने ही आने हैं. right? These 4 or 5 questions which have already discussed definitely would come, definitely. और experimental design तो most important है, right? अब you know the what is the question? List the various types of the experimental design. Discuss pre-test, post-test, equivalent group design, giving suitable example, right? So basically, this question is asking about what are the experimental design. Okay, you should know about what is experimental design and types of experimental design. Okay, with suitable example. अब आप ये देखो, when you talk about types of experimental design, do you know that, you know, basically in your syllabus, 3 types of experimental design. Okay. Pre-test experimental design, true experimental design, and quasi experimental design. It would be finished. You can write within a one page. Okay. Then from where you will get the material, you have to fill the 7 pages. Guys, that's why you have to learn the examples. I have already told you, and even the examiner have asked from you. Oh, the it is written, giving suitable example, right? So this paper, with the help of an example, you can learn it, and with the help of an example, you can stretch it. And in my notes also, you have seen that, right? I have written every example, and in my lectures, I have used the examples, right? When I discuss the historical method, I have taken the example of the, like, teachings of Jesus, right? If I have used the, cause and effect experimental research, then I have taken the example of too much liquor effects on the effects on the liver. So, with the help of an example, you can learn it. So guys, what are the experimental design? Even little bit experimental design we are done in the previous part 1 lecture also. What are the experimental design? I have told you now. Difference between the experimental design and experimental research, right? Experimental design means the plan, how you have to proceed. Okay. So on this question also, I have made a PPT. So I discuss with you with the help of PPT, right? ये देखिए क्या होते हैं एक्सपेरिमेंटल डिजाइन. ओके, सो फर्स्ट वी विल डिस्कस एक्सपेरिमेंटल डिजाइन, देन 3 टाइप्स ऑफ एक्सपेरिमेंटल डिजाइन: प्री टेस्ट, ट्रू एक्सपेरिमेंटल डिजाइन, एंड क्वेसी एक्सपेरिमेंटल डिजाइन, राइट? सो फर्स्ट वी डिस्कस द experimental design. Experimental design is a structured process for planning and conducting experiments to test hypotheses and determine cause and effect relationship, right? Experimental design means planning a set of procedures to investigate a relationship between variable. Okay, guys, here do not confuse with experimental design and experimental research. Both are different, right? In your syllabus, there are 3 methods now. Okay, what are the method? 3 research. One is a historical research, descriptive, and scientific. Scientific research name is the experimental research. Okay, and research is also called the method. Even you can call that historical method, descriptive method, and experimental method. Okay, but you can't say the design. Design is a different. Okay, design means plan, how you proceed. Method means actual action. Method means action. You have done it. And design means you are going to work on it. This is called the design, right? Experimental design means planning a set of procedure to investigate a relationship between variable, right? Third देखिए paragraph, third bullet. Experimental research design is a framework of protocols and procedures. आ गया ना clear? Right? It is a plan. It is a roadmap. It is a protocol of and procedures created to conduct experimental research. अब ये देखो यहाँ आ गया experimental research. It means, if you have to study any of the topic, but in your topic, you are using the experimental research. Okay. So then, first of all, you have to make the experimental design. right? Experimental research design is a framework of a protocol and procedure created to conduct experimental research with a scientific approach using two sets of variables. Herein, the first set of a variable acts as a constant used to measure the difference of second set. In the last, experimental research helps a researcher gather the necessary data for making better research decision and determining the facts of a research study, right? अब ये देखिए टाइप्स आ गए एक्सपेरिमेंटल रिसर्च डिजाइन के. Three types of experimental research design: pre-experimental, true experimental, and quasi-experimental. Okay, we discuss one by one, right? So first we are discussing the pre-experimental research design. Pre था ना, हाँ, pre-experimental. Then we'll discuss the true, then quasi. Okay. ये देखो प्री एक्सपेरिमेंटल रिसर्च डिजाइन, ध्यान से देखना. ओके, लिसन केयरफुली. दिस इज द इंपॉर्टेंट एंड डिफरेंस इज आल्सो राइट. टाइप्स में थ्री टाइप्स हैं. वन वी आर डिस्कसिंग प्री एक्सपेरिमेंटल रिसर्च डिजाइन. ए रिसर्च स्टडी कुड कंडक्ट प्री एक्सपेरिमेंटल रिसर्च डिजाइन व्हेन ए, ये देखो, टू अंडरस्टैंड यू आई हैव अंडरलाइन द इंपॉर्टेंट वन. ओके, so I'm discussing, I'm from the starting. A research study could conduct pre-experimental research design when a group or many groups are under observation after implementing factors of a cause and effect of the research. The pre-experimental design will help researcher to understand whether further investigation is necessary for the groups under observation. Right? तो ये तो सिंपल ही है, राइट? इसको यहां से भी आप देख सकते हो, राइट? ट्रू एक्सपेरिमेंटल डिजाइन, ये देखो यहीं से लिया हुआ है. फर्स्ट ट्रू, ये देखो ट्रू प्री एक्सपेरिमेंटल डिजाइन, राइट? ये देखो प्री एक्सपेरिमेंटल डिजाइन, राइट? इसके एग्जांपल्स देखो, विद द हेल्प ऑफ एग्जांपल यू विल अंडरस्टैंड. ये देखो एग्जांपल ऑफ एक्सपेरिमेंटल रिसर्च डिजाइन, राइट? थियरी तो यू आर डन ना. अब यू नो हाउ यू विल अंडरस्टैंड विद द हेल्प ऑफ एग्जांपल. प्री एक्सपेरिमेंटल रिसर्च डिजाइन, फॉर एग्जांपल, ये है. In the pre-experimental research or design, you run a carry-out test at the end of the semester on the class of a college students. The students are the dependent variable since they are being administered, and the professors and are the independent variable of the experiment. The research is an example of a pre-experimental because only one group of the student are considered for the research and they are carefully selected. ठीक है ना, यही चीज थी ना, ये देखो इसके अंदर प्री एक्सपेरिमेंटल रिसर्च डिजाइन, राइट? A research study could conduct pre-experimental research design when a group or many groups are under observation after implementing factor of a cause and effect. Right? For example, you are the teacher, you want to conduct a test of your student, 30 students हैं, you want to conduct a test. Okay, अब students जो होंगे, they are the dependent variable, you are the independent variable. राइट? अब इसमें क्या होता है? द प्री एक्सपेरिमेंटल डिजाइन विल हेल्प रिसर्चर अंडरस्टैंड वेदर फर्दर इन्वेस्टिगेशन इज नेसेसरी. नाउ यू हैव कंडक्टेड ए टेस्ट. आफ्टर द टेस्ट यू कम टू नो दैट, ओके, वेदर फर्दर preparation is necessary or not, okay, for the group which are under observation, because all the 30 students you are conducting a test, they are the under observation. So it is a simple, right? ये आगे उसके पार्ट है. This can further be subdivided as a one short case study, one group pre-test and statics group. Okay, in the notes I have written, right? So guys, one time now you have to go through, second time you have to go through, then you will understand and watch my video again and again. Okay, then you will learn it. Second, देखिए true experimental research design, right? What is happening here? A true experimental research design relies on statistical analysis to prove or disapprove a research hypothesis. It is one of the most accurate form of the research because it provides specific scientific evidence. Furthermore, out of all types of experimental design, only a true experimental design can establish a cause-effect relationship within a group. Right? However, in a true experimental design, a researcher must satisfy these three factors. अब ये तीन factors, okay? Focus on three factors, then you will understand the true experimental research design. क्या होता है? What happens? Number one, There is a control group that is not subjected to changes and an experimental group that will experience the changed variable. Okay. अब you क्या था? In a first pretext experimental design, only the one group was considered na under observation, which the teacher has to take the test. But under the true experimental design, now there are two groups. For example, one group, one group is called the control group. Second group is called the experimental group. Okay, I tell you with the help of an example. Suppose karo in a one group you have, okay, you can see the example from here also. Intermittent fasting example I have given. ये देखिए. Under the true experimental design, to run your true experimental design, you assign half of your patient to intermittent fasting. Okay. The other half are subject to a regular diet. So different topics है ना. If the topics are different, so different designs है ना, will you use it? Okay. Might be there is a one research they want to know that whether the intermittent fasting, okay, affects on health or not. Okay, they want to see the result. So you know what the researcher has done it. Okay, for example, there are 100 participants. Samples होता है ना, like your sample 100 students you have selected, right? 100 students हैं, 100 patients हैं. So you know, scholar researcher has divided the 100 students in the two groups. Okay, one group is called the controlled group, right? Where you know one group of patient where you know keep the patient on the intermittent fasting, and the other half they are called the controlled group are subject to a regular diet. Okay, the other half are subject to a regular diet. These are called the controlled group, and the 50% persons who are on the intermittent fasting, these are called the experiment group. Okay, so इसमें भी कंफ्यूज नहीं होना है, तो यू हैव टू नोट इट, राइट? ये अब समझ आ गया आपको? द फर्स्ट इज, अब देयर इज ए कंट्रोल्ड ग्रुप, राइट? फर्स्ट वन पढ़ो, देयर इज ए कंट्रोल्ड ग्रुप. हु इज ए कंट्रोल्ड ग्रुप? हु इज ऑन द रेगुलर डाइट. ओके, ये देखो, दैट इज नॉट सब्जेक्टेड टू चेंज. ओके, उसमें कोई देयर इज नो चेंज. एंड द एक्सपेरिमेंटल ग्रुप, हु इज द एक्सपेरिमेंटल ग्रुप? Those who were on the intermittent fasting, right? That will experience a changed variable. Second, a variable that can be manipulated by the researcher. Third, random distributions of the variable, right? अब guys, ये आपको यहाँ इसका theory भी you have understood, and you know ये examples, with the help of example you will understand more. Okay, to run your true experimental research, you assign half of your patient to a intermittent fasting, the other half, which is called the controlled group, are subject to a regular diet. What happens? Every 3 months, you have the patient fill out of a report describing any symptoms or progress to evaluate if the intermittent fasting produces a better or worse effect on the patient. Simple आ गया कि नहीं आ गया? So what was your study? You want to study that. Suppose the example, you have the topic, you want to see that whether intermittent fasting affects on health or not. है ना? So from this method, you always have to use a true experimental design. Okay, you cannot use the other design. Okay, to prove this method, to prove this topic. Got it? So now you have come to know that how important the research methodology is, right? You have written synopsis in your research methodology, na? Some has written this. Okay, this is based upon your topic, right, guys? Ab third aa gaya quasi experimental design, right? So we discussed the quasi experimental research design. Quasi, what is the meaning of a quasi? Quasi means similarity. This is a similar. A quasi-experimental design is a similar to a true experimental design, but there is a difference between the two. What is the difference? In a true experimental design, the participants of the group are randomly assigned. So every unit has an equal chance of getting into experimental group. But in a quasi-experimental design, the participants of the group are not randomly assigned. बस इसमें ये होता है नॉट रैंडमली असाइंड और उसमें रैंडमली असाइंड, सो द रिसर्चर कैन नॉट मेक ए कॉज और इफेक्ट कंक्लूजन, राइट। अब ये देखो गाइस, क्वेश्चन की भी एग्जांपल्स मैंने दी हुई है यहां पर, ओके। क्वेश्चन एक्सपेरिमेंटल डिजाइन, ओके। अब ये देखो क्या है, लेट अस टू बेसबॉल कोचेस आर ट्रेनिंग देयर प्लेयर्स इन ए टू कंप्लीटली अपोजिट वेज। वन कोच, मतलब देयर आर टू कोच, दे आर गिविंग ट्रेनिंग टू अ different person, different teams. One coach is training the first string players in a traditional way, and the other coach is using the new training programs to various countries to train the second string of players. अब यहां पर क्या हुआ देखो, अब यहां पर कोच भी दो हो गया, देयर आर टू कोच एंड टू टीम्स। ट्रू एक्सपेरिमेंटल डिजाइन में क्या था, ओके, स्कॉलर तो वन ही था पर्सन, ओके, दो ग्रुप, ही हैज क्रिएटेड अ टू ग्रुप, राइट। अब you know what I want to say, that in every design, okay, there is a unique example. You cannot fit the one example with a particular design, right? When you talk about the pre-experiment, first is a pre-test, pre-experimental research design, example would be different. True experimental design, example would be different. Quasi experimental design, example would be different. Like your topics are different. You all have the topics. You all have the different topics. Okay, right? Different techniques you are using, different method you are using, different samples you are using, different cities you are using, different villages you are using, different, everything is a different, okay. So I have already told you, you cannot mug up, you cannot cram it. This is a technical, okay. Again and again you have to learn it. That's why I'm taking the test on 11th, right? So because this is the most important, right? So up here in the quasi experimental design, okay, इसको try to understand here. Let us two baseball coaches are training their players in a two completely opposite way. One coach is training the first string player in a traditional way. Other is using the new training program of a various country to train the string players. अब ये देखो यहाँ पे आ जाओ सीधा. When you properly look for the systematic difference between the first and the second string players, you can be confident that different result will arise from the two training programs. Okay, there are two coach. One is giving the training traditional, one is giving the training with the new method, and you can know that, okay, and all the result would be different. But then you can implement that which method is the best, right? So this is the quasi experimental research design, right? So guys, देखिए, you are going to become a teacher, principal, okay, always with the help of those traditional method, 10 साल 20 साल पुराने methods, okay, you are teaching to the student, okay, you are the persons, students feel are bored, right? Different techniques you have to use it, okay. Teacher, why the teacher is called the nation builder? Why the teacher is called the learner first? I always say that, you have to become a learner. You can't become a teacher without the learning. Always remember, every day you have to learn it. Okay, if you are in the line of the teaching. So, research, okay, always updates us. Always update. Once you clear B.Ed or M.Ed, go for PhD. Go for, okay, once you clear B.Ed, M.Ed, then go for the different research programs, different, writing the papers, writing your books also. Okay, don't think that after B.Ed, M.Ed, you are done it. Okay, because every 3 or 6 months, there is a new things are coming. In a research, you have already, I have told you now, after every 2 months 3 months there is a new things is coming because of the research. Everything we are looking, this is a result of the research. So guys, we are done with our designs, experimental design, and types of experimental designs. Okay, so what was the questions? The question was the fifth था ना हमारा, ये देखो, list the various types of experimental design, right? Discuss the pre-test and post-test equivalent group design giving suitable example. So first experimental design is given, ये देखो सारा का सारा whole of. Then characteristics of experimental design, right? Then types of experimental design, pre-true and quasi-experimental design, right? Pre-true and quasi-experimental design, right? Then examples with the help of examples, right? So example you have to write. तो ये अप टू 60 पेजेस, 59 पेजेस में आई हैव ऑलमोस्ट सोल्व ऑल ईयर होल पेपर, राइट? देन ऑन द 61 there is a additional notes, right? You can see that some more example of experimental research design. ये देखो, with the help of examples you have to learn it, guys. Okay, then the concept would be more clear in your mind, because these things are being asked in the written paper as well as in your viva also. ये देखो, experimental design versus quasi experimental design. Okay, because from now, if you are clear with pre, true and quasi, है ना, you can generate, 3 or 4 questions, right? ये methods of a collections of data, right? Okay, अभी चल रहा है लास्ट ईयर पेपर, ये अभी चल रहा है. 6th क्वेश्चन इज ए, व्हाट इज मेंट बाय positive and negative correlation? If you remember last time we are done, है ना, with the correlation, what is a positive and negative correlations. Okay. ओके, हाँ, ओके, अप टू ये था 65 तक था. नाउ 66 से देयर आर एडिशनल नोट्स, राइट? यू कैन सी दैट. अब नाउ क्या था, अब अप टू दिस इज अ पेज नंबर 66. ओके, तो वी हैव डिस्कस्ड अप टू पेज 65, राइट? टोटल पेजेस, total notes are around 130 140 pages. Okay, so we have discussed the 65. Okay, what we have done in the 65 pages, on the 65 pages we have done the last year paper. Okay, all the 5 6 questions of last year paper. Okay, now the notes have started in detail, right guys, from the page number 66, right? Might be दो चार ऊपर नीचे आ सकते हैं, बिकॉज आई हैव लार्ज द फोंट साइज ना, दैट्स व्हाई some pages would come on 60, है ना. Mine are coming on 66, right? ये देखिए guys, research tool. Okay, we have already discussed about the research tools, right? ये देखो, characteristics of a good research tool, validity, reliability, usability, right? Again I have written. अब ये देखो, types and uses of a research tool. In the paper we have discussed the various type of a research tool. Okay, if we have to discuss various types of a research tool, because there are a lot of a research tools, right? But naturally we have confined, है ना, every tool, because we cannot go from 6 7 pages within a half an hour, we have to cover it, right? But here every tool is described in a you know in a long way, right? ये देखो, questionnaire. Sometimes questions can come on questionnaire also, right? If the single questions comes on the questionnaire, so then at least you should have material to elaborate your answer. ये देखो, questionnaire tool सारा, right? Questionnaire. फिर closed questionnaires होते हैं, then merits, demerits of a, then open questions, merit, demerits, then characteristics of a good questionnaire, right? Advantages, disadvantages. So from that way you can elaborate, right? Reading skills. Although we are done with a, in a small part, because the last time questions came, describe the various types of a research tools. Okay, but here in the notes are written in the detail, so you have to go for the detail also. Rating scales आ गया, ये देखो, numerical scales we are done. Likert scale. Okay, sometimes questions come on the Likert scale, full-fledged questions. ये देखो, then you have to elaborate the Likert scale, then advantages of a Likert scale, disadvantages of a Likert scale, then radio frequency scale, it has come, multi checkbox scales, star rating scale, है ना, we are done in the first questions. Okay, that came in the last year paper. ये देखो, attitudinal scales, most important I have written. Okay, then go for it and learn it. Attitude scales. Okay, एटीट्यूड स्केल्स क्या होता है? स्केल्स तो पता ही आपको, है ना. अनदर नेम ऑफ ए स्केल इज क्वेश्चनियर टूल. स्केल्स आर यूज्ड टू कलेक्ट द डेटा. So as the name suggests, scale, attitude scale. So attitude scale is a form of a appraisal procedure, and it is also one of the inquiry terms. Attitude scales have been designed to measure attitude of a subject or a group of a subject towards issues, institutions and group of people, right? उसके सारे आगे हैं. अब ये देखो, चैप्टर 2 है हिस्टोरिकल मेथड, है ना. Full-fledged method is discussed here in the chapter 2, okay, which we have already discussed. All the three method, right? One historical method, then descriptive method. Descriptive method talks about the phenomena, current phenomena. Okay, ये देखो, focus on what and why. It talks about research, descriptive method. And third is scientific research. Scientific research means experimental method. Experimental method talks about the cause and effect. ये देखो, साइंटिफिक को एक्सपेरिमेंटल रिसर्च बोलते हैं. ये देखो मीनिंग ऑफ एक्सपेरिमेंटल रिसर्च मेथड. ओके, आई एम नॉट डिस्कसिंग बिकॉज आई हैव डिस्कस इन द लास्ट पेपर आल्सो. ओके, एक्सपेरिमेंटल का. ओके, वी आर इवन एक्सपेरिमेंटल डिजाइन वी आर डिस्कस्ड, वेयर द एक्सपेरिमेंटल रिसर्च मेथड इज डिस्कस्ड, राइट. ये देखो स्टेप्स हैं. स्टेप्स आर इंपॉर्टेंट ऑफ एक्सपेरिमेंटल रिसर्च. ऑलवेज रिमेंबर दीज स्टेप्स आर नॉट सेम विद द अदर, राइट. ये स्टेप्स हैं. देन ये वेरिएबल, लिटिल बिट आई हैव रिटन अबाउट डिपेंडेंट, इंडिपेंडेंट और इंटरमीनिंग वेरिएबल. ओके, स्मॉल क्वेश्चंस. ओके, यू हैव टू लर्न इट, राइट. देन नेक्स्ट चैप्टर इज research report. है ना, we are discuss the research report. Fifth chapter we are done it. Today we discuss the research report. Under this chapter, research report, research proposal is given, steps are given. Okay, difference is given, everything is given, right. So in detail, ये देखो सारे steps हैं, all things, right guys. Then importance, right. Research proposals आ गया. Then research proposal, in the notes, detailed versions are there. Okay, once you finish your the last year paper, then cover these details also, right. उसके बाद tips for writing a good research proposals. Okay, sometimes short questions comes. What are the tips for writing a good research proposal? So these are the points for writing a good research proposals. Then sixth chapter is the correlations. Correlations we are done. Concept we are done. Degree, positive, negative, types, uses, limitations we are done. Okay, दो मेथड होते हैं. There are two methods of the correlations. Product movement Pearson, rank order method Spearman. ये देखो, product movement is written, merits and demerits. Rank order method Spearman का given है, जिसका formula है 1 - 6 sigma d square divided by n square minus 1. Merits and demerits are written. Then uses and significance of a coefficient of a correlations. And if you remember in the part 1, I have discussed about coefficient of a correlation. Uses of coefficient of a correlation. Assumption. Already told you assumptions are important, right. ये देखो here guys, assumptions underlying the use of product movement method. Okay, so assumption is important. Okay, do learn the assumption of a correlation, learn the assumption of a regression, assumptions of a ANOVA also. Okay, अब ये लास्ट आ गया टॉपिक आपका ANOVA, right. तो ANOVA we discuss. Okay, this is the part 2. So we'll finish after the ANOVA almost. Then we will see the syllabus. Okay, almost we are finished. Okay, after the ANOVA. ANOVA is the last one. ANOVA क्या चीज है? What is ANOVA? First of all, guys, the full form of ANOVA is analysis of variance. Okay, first understand the concept, then we will learn the theory one, right? Actually, ANOVA, where the ANOVA we use, what is the use of ANOVA? Okay, when we use the ANOVA. So before going to the ANOVA, first of all, we have to understand the concept t-test. Okay, whenever we have to see the difference between the two means. Okay, we want to see the difference between the two variable, two sampled mean, two means, we use the t-test. And when we have to see the difference between the three sampled means, three means, right, then we use the ANOVA 3 or more. Okay, as it is written, you can see that meaning of ANOVA. ANOVA test is used to analyze the difference among the means of various groups. Okay, if we have to find out the means of two group, okay, we use the t-test. But if we have to find out the means of various groups or more than two, matlab three means, then we use the ANOVA, analysis of variance. ANOVA means analysis of variance. And ANOVA test, ये test होता है. Okay, theoretical, why we are doing the theoretical? Because one part theoretical comes, one part numerical comes. Okay, numerical will do that. Okay, and ANOVA test can be either one way, two way, depending upon the number of independent variables. Okay, third होता है, n ways भी होता है. तीन types होती हैं, one way, two way और n way. राइट। एनोवा क्या था? ANOVA, the history of ANOVA test date back 1918. It is a concept of a Sir Ronald Fisher gave out of, so it is called the Fisher analysis of a variance. Question आ गया ना, Fisher analysis of a variance. Don't think that कि it is not your syllabus. Okay, इस ANOVA को इन्होंने सर रोनाल्ड फिशर्स ने he has given, so that's why it is also called the Fisher analysis of variance. Sometime it comes. Okay, write about the Fisher analysis of variance. The ANOVA, which stands for analysis of a variance test. It is a tool in statistics that is concerned with comparing the means of two groups of data sets to what extent they differ. In simple and general terms, it can be stated that the ANOVA test is used to identify which process among all the other processes is better. Other all processes is better. Okay, अब देखो एग्जांपल है ना? Every topic I have explained you with the help of a example. ANOVA भी with the help of a example I discuss with you, understand to you, right? ANOVA की ये देखो example of ANOVA, right? अब ये देखो, an example to understand this can be prescribing medicine. Okay, see these three bullets. Okay, these three bullets, ये देखो first. Okay, we are understanding the ANOVA. First, suppose there is a group of patients who are suffering from fever, right? Number one, right? Second, देखो अब क्या होगा, what happened? वो जो ग्रुप है, that group, they are being given three different medicines to a particular one group. Three different medicines that have the same functionality to cure fever. Third, to understand the effectiveness of each medicine and choose the best among them, the ANOVA test is used. Okay. Suppose, one person is suffering from the fever. He has given the three medicines on the having the same functionality to cure the fever. Okay. After some time, because we have given the three medicines, so how we will come to know that out of a three, which one is best suited for a man? So we will use the test ANOVA, right? So when we have to find out these type of a situation, okay, various groups may hame, we want to know that, okay, which student is better, which class is better, which group is better from the different many groups. So then we use the ANOVA. Okay, so I think ANOVA is clear to you. You may wonder that a test can be used to instead of using the ANOVA test. You are probably right, but since t-tests are used to compare only two things, you will have to run multiple t-tests to come up with an outcome, while that is not the case with the ANOVA test. Okay, अब क्या था, यानी कि टी टेस्ट तो होता है ना टू के बीच में, है ना, टू नो द डिफरेंस बिटवीन द टू मीन्स. तो अगेन एंड अगेन यूजिंग द टी टेस्ट, तो इट इज बेटर टू यूज द ANOVA, राइट? अब यूजेस एंड इंपॉर्टेंस ऑफ एनोवा, आपके ना पेज है, बुक है आपकी 255 पेज पे भी बहुत अच्छा लिखा हुआ है, एक ही पेज है. ओके, यूजेस एंड इंपॉर्टेंस, इट इज रिटन वेरी गुड. यू कैन लर्न फ्रॉम ओवर देयर आल्सो, यूजेस एंड इंपॉर्टेंस, राइट, फ्रॉम द बुक आल्सो. टाइप्स ऑफ एनोवा ऑलरेडी टोल्ड यू ना, वन वे, टू वे और एन वे, राइट? एनोवा की टाइप्स हैं. अजम्पशंस, अजम्पशंस तो इंपॉर्टेंट है सर, होगी अजम्पशंस तो करनी है आपको, ठीक है? अब क्या है अजम्पशंस ऑफ एनोवा? अब ये देखो ना, द क्वेश्चन कम्स अजम्पशंस ऑफ एनोवा, राइट? ये देखो, है तो ये सिर्फ हाफ पेज ही है. आंसर इज ऑफ द हाफ पेज ना, राइट? अब गाइस, दिस इज यूर, यू नो, you can say that your knowledge, how you fill the two pages. This is a half page. Assumptions of a ANOVA आ गया. अब हाफ पेज लिखोगे तो आपको नंबर ही सारा एक दो मिलने हैं. अब अब assumptions of ANOVA has come, so you can give the example also. With the help of an example, you can stretch it. Okay, that's why I have told you na, in every question example is important. What are the assumptions? Number one, the population from where the sample have been drawn should follow a normal distribution. ये ना सेम assumption थी, ये सिर्फ only one first is the same with the correlation. Okay, data should be normally distributed. Okay, second is of ANOVA, The sample have been selected randomly and independently. Third, each group should have the common variance, should be homoscedastic. The variability in the dependent variable values with different group is equal. Okay, या ऐसे भी लिख सकते हो आप. Number one, assumption is normality, then equal variance, then independence. अभी applications of ANOVA आ गया. Right, applications में तो you can write many examples, because how you can write the examples or applications of a ANOVA. First, you have to understand the ANOVA test. Ab ANOVA test, if you have come to know that, it is used to find out the difference between two or more groups. Then ANOVA is used, okay, with the help of an example, 3 medicines given to a one patient or a one group. Okay, which medicine is the best? Okay, if you know it, so then you can you know elaborate your answer also by writing the applications of ANOVA. Application ANOVA in a business, application ANOVA in a sports, in a healthcare. वही है, वही तीन की बात अगर आप करेंगे more than, ठीक है ना? We want to see that in e-commerce, right, guys? Now I come to on this syllabus. I see that this is the right. ये our syllabus था हमारा. So we come here. Okay, on a very first one, yes, this one. Up guys, now we have come back to our syllabus, right? Yellow part we have discussed in the part 1. Okay, now we are already discussed the ये historical descriptive scientific we are already done, right? अब ये देखो unit 2 में we are done experimental research and design, right? Green part I'm doing that because today we discussed. Then ये देखो research report भी हमने discuss कर ली. Development research report characteristics and steps. ये देखो यूनिट 1 हमारा पूरा हो गया. टूल्स एंड टेक्निक्स वी आर डिस्कस्ड. ओके, थोड़ा सा और बढ़ाता हूं, जूम आउट. ये देखिए यूनिट 1 वी आर डिस्कस्ड each and every point, every character. ये देखो characteristics of a good research tool we are done. Questionnaire we are done. Types and uses we are done. Rating scales, Likert and Thurston scale we are done. Tino method we are done. Historical, descriptive, scientific. Experimental research and design we are done. All the 3 design we are done. Pre-test, true and quasi experimental design. Research report we are done. Development of, ये देखो research synopsis we are done. Research report we are done. Dissertation and thesis. Dissertation, thesis, research report, these are the same things. Okay. Characteristics and steps we are done. Correlation last time we are done. Product movement rank difference method we are done. ANOVA we are done. Meaning, assumptions and computations. Right? और here ये टी टेस्ट वी आर डन है ना. एनोवा कर लिया तो टी टेस्ट तो वैसे सिंपल है हमारा, राइट. नल हाइपोथेसिस वी ऑलरेडी नो इन द लास्ट टाइम वी आर डन इट. स्टैंडर्ड एरर हमारा रह गया, टाइप 1 टाइप 2 रह गया, ये भी हमने कर लिया. ओके, और ये हमारा रिग्रेशन वाला पार्ट रहता है बस. ओनली वन पार्ट इज लेफ्ट, ओनली रिग्रेशंस. ठीक है गाइस, रिग्रेशन एंड स्टैंडर्ड एरर टाइप 1 टाइप 2 वन टेल एंड टू टेल टेस्ट. ओके, तो ये स्मॉल पार्ट ओनली 10% is left. Other we are done, right? So now you prepare for it. The next week I'm going to take test on this paper, advanced educational research. Okay, so I will skip the questions of regression and these one. Okay, other one you can do that. Okay, we will do it. Okay, why? I just want to tell you why. Because of that, when I will discuss the lecture of regression, I will explain you with the help of an example. Okay, because one numerical come of a regression. Okay, so then we also do the correlation also, right, guys? तो ये हमारा नीचे वाला पार्ट भी हो जाएगा सारा. And last year paper also we are done. Characteristics of a good research tool. ठीक है, difference between experimental and descriptive research, assumptions of correlations. है ना. अब now this time here the questions can come. Assumptions of ANOVA, assumptions of regression, right? ये डिफरेंस हम कर लेंगे, कोई बात नहीं, सिंपल ही है ये. ठीक है, तो ये देखो ये दोनों क्वेश्चंस वी आर डन लास्ट टाइम और ये दोनों क्वेश्चंस वी आर डन टुडे. ये भी हो गया था पॉजिटिव एंड नेगेटिव कोरिलेशंस, है ना, राइट. ये कोरिलेशंस निकाल लेंगे हम, ये सिंपल है रिग्रेशन और कोरिलेशंस वाला, राइट. और एक क्वेश्चन आपको यहां से ये करवा दूंगा मैं, एनोवा, एनोवा कैसे निकालते हैं, ये तो हमने कर ही लिया एनोवा का, थ्योरेटिकल वी आर डन। Explain the meaning of ANOVA and discuss its assumptions. We are done, right? I have told you ना, unit third और unit four में one numerical comes along with the theoretical, right? तो ये देखो तीन मेथड है, do ANOVA on the following set. बस ये मैं आपको आई विल टेल यू ओके व्हाट इज द फॉर्मूला एंड हाउ टू डू दैट, ओके एनोवा। और एक मैं आपको रिग्रेशंस का करवा दूंगा, हाउ टू प्रिडिक्ट रिग्रेशंस, और एक कोरिलेशंस का, राइट? तो हमारा फिर ये वाला पार्ट भी हो जाएगा, रिग्रेशंस और ये वाला, राइट? Only 10 15, one question is left only, moreover one, okay, otherwise all are done. So guys, thank you so much for this lectures, thanks to all of you, and hope that the concept has clear to you. Whole of the paper we are done it, right? Then go through the notes, you have ample amount of a time, whole of the week, okay, learn it, because last week we started it, right? Might be half you are already done it, right guys? So thank you so much, guys. Once again, thank you.